The biggest myths about life after work. Now, there are quite a few myths about life after retirement that can create unnecessary fears or even unrealistic expectations. And so I identified six that I want to talk about in this video. And then I'm going to debunk them all. So let's get started. So the first one is, and people would always tell me this: when you retire, you're going to be bored. You're not going to have anything to do or anybody to do it with. All your friends, they're at work working, and you're at home being retired. And who's at home with you? Well, it's your wife. I know you don't want to spend 24/7 with your wife, so you better go back to work and unretire. Well, the reality is that many retirees find themselves busier than ever. I know I have. My daily, weekly, monthly calendars, they're all filled. The difference is they're filled with activities that I want to do. And when it comes to my wife, I love my wife. One of the reasons why I retired was to reconnect with her because over my work life, I missed her. There are so many times where, I just wasn't there because I was somewhere doing work. And so I'm never bored in my retirement. The second myth has to do with people think that it's all leisure and no work. Well, in reality, retirement, it kind of offers freedom to avoid the 9 to 5. You don't have to go to work there. But many retirees choose to do other things that keep them active, like volunteer in the local community, or sometimes they even take on part-time jobs. They'll take on a job that they want to do and not a job that they have to do, or even projects. Right? They'll get involved in projects. Maybe it's a project going on at the local level, and maybe they're installing a playground that you want to get involved with, or maybe it's Habitat for Humanity creating or building a house somewhere that you get involved with. Now, for me, I stay with the projects. Right? When I retired, I had a laundry list of those things that I needed to do to get my house back in shape, because we decided to age in place, which simply means that our retirement lifestyle, we're not going to sell and downsize and move. We're just going to live right here. So there are a lot of things that I have to do to make sure that our home is ready for us as we age. All right. So that's the bump. So the third thing, right? So the third thing, the third myth has to do with you lose your identity. And that is true. Your identity is solely attached to the work you do, the job title that you hold. And some people have a hard time getting away from that. They believe that the job title, that's where their power comes from, their prestige, their status. And they feel that, if they lose that job title, they don't feel relevant anymore, right? They feel like they're nobody. And so they just continue to work. And then when they do retire, they have a hard time adjusting, because nobody's going to call them sir or call them, a vice president or president, or they're not going to be called CEO, and they're not going to have a lot of people running around taking care of them. In retirement, we're one thing only, and that is retired. And so the reality is that in retirement, you get to choose to define your life how you want it. You can create a job title for yourself. And so when somebody asks you, what do? You can tell them, well, I work part-time for the zoo, or I work part-time down at the old folks home, or, you could say something like that. Or like me, when people ask me, what do? I said, I'm retired. And most of them would say, retired? You're too young to be retired. And I'd say, you're right. I am young and retired. And that's the whole point, is to retire young so that you're still physically and mentally capable to go out and have fun. Who wants to retire when you're 70, 75 and your body's falling apart and your mind is turned to mush and you can't do anything other than sit in that chair, have a drink, and watch TV. That's not me. So losing your identity, you grow another one. It's not a problem. So the fourth myth that is out there that we're going to debunk is your finances will dwell. They'd say, Robert, you can't afford to retire. You're always going to be worried about your monies. The stock market goes up, stock market goes down. Every time it goes down, you're going to be losing money. And now you're going to have to budget even tighter. And that's going to cause you more stress and more heartache than anything. Well, the reality is that with proper financial planning, every retiree can live a comfortable life. Yes, you'll have to budget things, but that's where you go back to creating multiple streams of for income coming in. You don't just rely on your savings. So most of us will rely on savings, and or we're going to start to draw Social Security, so we're going to have that. And if you're retired from the military like myself, you got a pension, so you got multiple strings of money that's coming in, more than enough to keep you afloat or to keep you going without a problem. And so, number four, finances will dwell. That's debunked. And so let's talk about the fifth one, right? So the fifth thing is that your health will rapidly decline. And that could be true depending on what you do. So we all know, and I say we retirees, that one of our priorities when we retire is our health, right? That jumps at the top because in our work life we were really unhealthy, right? So I don't see how staying at work can make you more healthier, but in your work life, you got up early. Your breakfast was a donut and a pot of coffee, and your lunch was rushed, right? You went out somewhere because you usually only have 30 minutes. Rushed out somewhere, shovel food in your mouth. That's the army way of eating, right? When you go to the mess hall, you only have so long, and so you put your spoon down in front of your mouth, and you just shovel all that food in, eat it all, and then get out of there. And so dinners were always late dinners because you're always late getting home, whether it was traffic or the boss wants you to work late. But the reality is that your health, right, in retirement, it becomes the number one priority. And so you take advantage of the time that you get to spend going to the doctor, where in your work life, you never went to the doctor. So now you're going to the doctor, you're doing your physicals, you're doing your blood work, you're doing all your screening, right? You're checking out your health. You're collaborating with your doctor so that you can get even more healthier. You probably start a workout program, and you can create it whatever you want, right? There are so many things that are out there that you can do to keep your body physically fit. Or you can, if you don't create your own, you can join a gym, and in a gym they have multiple classes. You don't have to pump 200-pound weights. You could do simple things like, what I like is Tai Chi, or you could join one of these aerobic classes, or maybe it's a spin class, right, on a bike. But there's so many other things that you can do that you want to do to keep yourself healthy. So the fact that people say, well, your health is going to decline, disagree, debunked. You're more unhealthy when you're at work than when you're at home. So let's go on to the sixth one. So the sixth one is that you lose all your social connections. And yeah, you're right. You do lose all your social connections. Why? Because they're all at work and you're at home, right? They're working, you're at home. You might go have lunch with them every now and then. Well, what do they talk about when you go to lunch with them? They talk about work. That's all they talk about is work, work, work. Well, you retired to get away from work. So that's not something that you want to constantly hear. So usually what happens is slowly you move away from all those friends at work, right? They stop calling you to lunch, and you actually stop accepting their invitation and going to work, because now your mindset is totally different from their mindset. And that's okay, because the reality is in retirement, you go make new friends, new relationships, right? And you want to do that with like-minded people, people that are going to talk about those things that are most important to you, most important to them. And it's not about working. So you can do that by, well, like joining a club, right? That you might want. Fishing club is a good club to join, and you guys go fishing all the time. Yeah, that's my kind of club. Or you might do some volunteer work. You might be a pet lover, and if you are a pet lover, you might maybe you join. Or you start doing volunteer work at the local pound, right? You go out there and you play with the animals, you get them, show them some love, you feed them, scoop some poop, but you do all those things at the pound, all right, to let those animals know that they're still loved, and that's something that you like to do, and you make friends out there, right? You make the friends that are like-minded and like doing things that you like doing, or maybe you're like me and you rather just spend time with your family. So I got a almost 3-year-old granddaughter, and I just love spending time with her. Although she can run me raggedly, I still enjoy that. We can play hide and go seek and play all those imaginary games with her. That to me is the most fun, and that's how I want to spend my retirement. And so those are 6 myths that, as you've seen, were kind of designed or people talk about or people think about to cause fear in some people's minds so that they don't retire. Or sometimes they create unexpected expectations, right? But you've seen that I debunked them all. So if you're thinking about retiring, just know that retirement life is very positive. You can make it whatever you want. Why? Because it's freedom. It's the ultimate freedom, free from all the stress that your work life causes. And so if you're capable of retiring, no matter what age, I recommend that you do. And this is Chandler's Retirement Live. It's a good life. If you want to watch another one of my videos, they're going to come up right here. Watch it and continue on watching all this good content. And so, lights out.